Yeah, I should win just because you had the Timberwolves in the 8th seed.
Vasilevsky's been playing really well, and the Lightning have great offense.
Yeah, it was a tremendous shot, and I've come to expect it from LeBron. I would say I wish the best for the Red Sox, but as a Yankees fan, that's really hard for me to do.
The biggest addition to me is Jalen Brunson.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and that's all I have to say. He's still a top 5 quarterback in this league, and there's nothing really anyone can do about it.
Why'd you have to name him? Like, seriously. Thanks, man.
Who would have thought 5 years ago that the Clippers and Nets would be facing in the finals?
How is Joe Burrow going to get the ball to them if his butt is already on the ground?
Crazy. And for the fans at home,
Hello, I'm Cy Mendenhall, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the week. As I try to remember all the moves that happened this week, as we complained about the moves not happening, and then we had a lot of moves. I think the biggest one, of course, Austin, is that Kyle Tucker signed with the Dodgers, which to me is just insane.
Yeah, we'll do our own video regarding the Dodgers and their influx of consistent high-level talent. I don't know if that's the biggest move. I think Bo Bichette to the Mets is maybe a bigger move because of what it means for Lindor. I mean, we had conversations regarding whether Lindor is gone, but now they've signed Jorge Polanco and they've signed Bo Bichette, and now there's serious questions about where those guys are going to play, who's going to DH, and what's really the options for the team now. But there was a lot of big moves, and I'm excited that some of them started to get going, and I'm also wondering where the Yankees are in this whole debacle.
Yeah, thinking about that as well, when you look at that, the Bichette move is, it looks like they're moving off Lindor. Because we already talked about with Polanco, you also have Marcus Semien, so that's your second baseman. So you can't really put Bichette at second base, because I know he did that in the World Series. But yeah, he's primarily a shortstop, maybe third, but it just creates a logjam, and I don't know what they're going to do with Polanco
but third
and
doesn't make much sense. Third doesn't make much sense to me either, because are they going to trade? I mean, they got to trade Vientos now, right? I mean, Vientos has to be gone. But Brett Beatty's still there. Where is Beatty playing? Brett Beatty played very well last year.
First?
Can Beatty play first? I don't know. I'm not saying like he can't, but also I don't have proof that he can. It's this very weird roster construction with the Dodgers though, with Kyle Tucker. Like they needed another outfielder, which of this like he's not stepping into anybody else's position, which is kind of crazy considering how many guys they already have on the roster, and the fact that Mookie could play literally every position besides probably catcher and pitcher relieves some of that stress. But I do think it's weird. I also think that Nolan Arenado to the Diamondbacks, I think it's a good get for them. They had Eduardo Suarez last year. So now they get another good third baseman. But the Diamondbacks are in a weird spot. I still think they're contending for a playoff spot this year. But, I mean, being in the Dodgers division, playing them as many times as they do, that definitely creates a tough ask.
Yeah, it's very tough. But when I look at this deal with the Diamondbacks, it didn't really cost to get Arenado. So to me, depending on whatever they do, I think you can go, if Nolan Arenado is really good and you have a great season, you have fantastic defensive third baseman. But if it doesn't, to me, this is just a great asset because teams have already wanted Arenado. And to me, they only gave up their 4th round pick from this year, basically the guy they drafted.
Yeah.
To me, I was shocked with what the Cardinals were doing because I feel like they could have gotten more than that.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying, and they definitely probably could have gotten more, but a lot of people knew that they wanted to get rid of him, and the Cardinals are completely – I mean, everybody from that team a couple years ago that were MVP candidates or Cy Young candidates or whatever are gone now, and this is going to be a rebuilding year on a team that is not playing in the best division in the world. But the Cubs, they signed Bregman. That's a big contract get. I really like this move for the Cubs. I think that you could really play him at third or if you wanted to move him to second, you could do that too. But Bregman played very well with Boston last year, and I think the reason why I bring it up also is because of the Kyle Tucker signing. This relieves that stress. Oh, we have to re-sign Tucker because you signed Bregman, so it kind of relieves itself because I think they're comparable, at least offensive players. And I do find it funny they both play for the Astros.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And yeah, I think when that move happened, it was kind of like, okay, this is in case we don't get Tucker. And it would have been great if they could have gotten Tucker. But of course, he got the deal from the Dodgers, and it left Boston in a weird spot.
And
it still
then
leaves
Boston,
Yep.
they're in a weird spot, but now they have Ranger Suarez. I did think that they were going to add starting pitching, and they did. Suarez is now gone, and it's weird because Bregman signs with the Cubs, so they take the Phillies guy, but then the Phillies, they re-sign JT Realmuto. It's been a weird like flux of moves during this offseason. I do think the Phillies are in a notably worse spot. I mean, their best thing getting back Kyle Tucker, I guess, is the best thing this offseason, and also re-signing JT Realmuto. They're in a weird spot. Like the Red Sox have been consistent adding. Where are the Yankees? Is my question I keep asking. I don't even need them to make a move besides re-signing Cody Bellinger. Like I don't need them to go get a guy that wasn't on the roster last year. You know what I mean? Like I'm not asking to go get somebody that wasn't. I literally watched in pinstripes. Like just re-sign Bellinger, and I have less concerns about this roster moving forward. But I do think there's some serious concerns. Yes, I would have loved to have a guy to play short. I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. Ranger Suarez being gone, also, I think the Yankees could have added starting pitching. But Suarez to the Red Sox can continue to add. And while they haven't filled the hole that Bregman left, they are still in a spot where their roster is better than last season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I do think it's a different team because I do think a starting pitcher is great, but there is that hole at third base and just what Tucker or what Bregman brought to them. And on the Yankees, I think they are focused on Bellinger, and I think they are just trying to sign him, but there is that disagreement between Bellinger and the Yankees on his price point, which
I don't think
causes...
it's price. I think it's tenure. I think it's
okay.
Years. I think from what I've seen, he wants a long-term contract, and the Yankees don't want to go that long. I think that's the talking. I don't think it's AAV. I think it's more tenure. Like how long is he going to be on the team? That is a concern. Yeah, and I do think that like I said, the Red Sox, they've added Sonny Gray also this offseason. So their starting pitching, I think, is maybe the best in the AL East, if not very close second. It does scare me when Boston's making all these moves. Is there any other move? Again, I think the Phillies are also in a kind of a close spot to the Yankees. Like, all they did was lose this offseason. They did re-sign some guys, but they didn't add anybody remarkable. So I think the Phillies, especially with their age, they're in a serious questioning of what they can be this season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they're trying to run it back, but you got to add more pieces because last year's team wasn't enough. And when I look at it, there haven't been any moves that have happened. I am curious. So you still have Framber Valdez is on the market, and you also have Zach Gallen on the market. Those are two guys that I'm wondering who signs them. Nestor Cortez, and I'm trying to think. Marcus Stroman as well. There are guys that are still available that haven't been signed yet, and I'm curious what happens to those guys.
Yeah, and I do think that there's going to be some more moves by big teams. I'm expecting a move by the Padres soon. I'm also expecting a move by some of the other contenders. I'm wondering if the Brewers make a move. Maybe the Cubs add another spot. Again, I just want the Yankees to re-sign Bellinger for me to be at least sort of okay with how this offseason has gone. Is there any team you think will be jumping on some of these guys later in the offseason?
I am curious. Yankees, I know, are with Bellinger, but I'm wondering what teams in the past that were competing, like the Blue Jays, they went out and signed Cease, but do they go out and sign other guys? Who tries to compete with the Dodgers? You're not going to be able to spend as much as they are, but I do think it is curious what do other teams try to go like, okay, we're not going to outspend them, but let's try to get more guys than we have now?
Yeah, it's a good point. I do think that there's going to be some teams that do that. I mean, right now the biggest spenders of the offseason seem like the Mets, who've been making a lot of moves, a lot of trades. Obviously the Dodgers, and then also Boston. But I wonder if any of those other teams that are trying to contend this year are going to make some major plays.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.